Hi everybody, and welcome to part 2 of our review for the Organized Konfusion self-titled album. Organized Konfusion came out in 1991. We already talked about the first 7 tracks over here on the Classic Quest podcast, the show where we break down the classics track by track, giving thoughts and opinions on every song. So you can check out the first part of our Organized Konfusion review. Should be popping up somewhere in the corner if you haven't caught that. But if you're like, f it, I'm here, I only care about the following 8 tracks anyway, fair enough. You can join us. My name is Holden Stephan.
I am your lady friend, Bonnie.
And yeah, we are excited to get through the rest of this project together. On that note, I don't want to waste any time. So why don't we stay a little cautious. We'll be a little paying attention as we navigate through
the rough side of town.
Anyway, Bonnie, why don't you tell us about this song?
So they are from, I guess, the rough side of town. And on the first verse, we have Pharoah Monch, and he's basically telling us about some guy, I don't think it's him, but I think he's talking about some guy who looked all rich and glamorous. It's definitely not him. To the maybe the poorer kids, but in reality, he got his wealth and his popularity and stuff by being involved with maybe illegal behavior, such as maybe selling drugs or whatever other shady business he might have been doing to make his wealth. And then in Poe's verse, he's kind of talking about his experience, also just something I guess less specific. Growing up on the south side and south side, and I really like that chant that they do, and how the stuff that was normal to them is maybe less normal to other people, and maybe a little bit shadier, or not shadier, but
complicated.
This track, you know what I mean, but
is painting a picture of where they come from, and kind of giving some context into it. I've noticed that in hip hop there tends to be, I guess, 2 stances at this era people are taking. There's the more pro gangster hard side, and then this is more on that other side of this track, I would say, where it's definitely we're going to talk about the social issues of the
their
hood
commentary
track,
on kind of what's going on.
but it's definitely from the position of, you can tell that they're not into the drug game. They don't respect this hustle. They're not that's it almost has that condescending finger wagging tone.
I don't know that it necessarily has the finger wagging. I think it's sort of just a warning, and this is kind of what this is sort of what he's seeing. He's seeing women becoming hoes, for drugs, and cops are always there and arresting people, and they talk about kids cry when someone they know dies or gets killed and things like that. So this is almost normal, and sort of just questioning why it's happening. I don't think it's necessarily I think it's just
I kind of get what you're saying. I took it they're painting the picture, south side's a town with a lot of hustle and bustle. A kid got stuck for $1 under the trestle, died with pride. He thought he had a big heart muscle. He fought back, but the attack was brutal. So, it's painting the picture. This is a stark reality here.
Yeah.
But what I meant by finger waggy, you kind of either glorify this or you report on it for the seriousness of what it is, and more of a this isn't okay.
I think this is the reporting then.
That's what I mean.
This isn't
that comes off a more of a don't do this kind of
tone. I don't think it's a don't do this. I think it's just if you had just taken a painting and drawn out what he saw, in his reality growing up in this hood, it would just be that. It's a statement more than
Fair enough.
that's my opinion on it anyways. I don't know, but it's interesting, and I think that was pretty much it. Oh, and they were talking about carrying guns around, not them, but people, and that they're always ready for trouble, and that they're ready in case there is any trouble, and people are always ready to go in the South Side. So it's a fun and cheerful sounding song, but in reality what they're kind of painting isn't necessarily very pretty at all. So, but it's good that they're sort of like commenting on like this is what's happening, like this is like a reality. And
I feel like they're like trying to show it's like a trap almost, like you can't escape it, or no matter what happens in your life, I feel like you're drawn to it. So maybe it's not
because it's like the older people are doing the bad things, and the next generation is growing up being like, oh, that's cool, that's what I want to be, and it just continues on like a cycle.
I guess that's it. I mean, like you look at stuff like when Prince Po's like back in the days, Queens never got props, but so cited citywide respects plus knockouts. You know, I guess he's saying it's harder there.
Yeah.
40, Baisley, Stub, Merrick, Queens, whack, step back. I don't want to hear it. I'm from, and I guess it kind of like shows in the beef or the intensity of these different hoods and the situations of it. So I suppose in their sense, they're kind of shouting out, saying where we come from is legitimate and whatnot. And I like the poetry in it. I like the projectiles are fitting inside of a clip. And personally, there's no particular name that's written on the side of a slug. Damn a bug when pretty women begin to bend over a drug. You know, it's just the idea of like bullets fly about anyone. So yeah, I guess it is more landscapey. It kind of makes me feel like Nas's poetry in the sense of reporting on the surroundings that's going on. But it really just comes off like an action movie, but not in like, again, this cool way. More like, yeah, this is kind of an action movie. We're from the South Side where shit's fucking real. Cops constantly stay on high speed chases trying to remember faces from previous arrest cases. I mean, that's fucking powerful, right? Because it's pointing out like
it's the same people over and over again.
It's almost like they're looking for a certain target. It's like they're hunting you out because you got arrested before, etc. We're gonna come get you again. Pointing out the situation because people keep dying. I'm saddened because there's baby left as an orphan because the life of an illegal entrepreneur is more than a rag something. He says something. The person on Genius put a question mark, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck he says.
Ragamuffin?
No, he says something else, but I don't know what it was. I couldn't figure it out. It was a question mark for me, but in general, it still gave me the idea like it's more than what it's like kind of painted. I feel like as much as there's the generational cycle of like the drug dealer type that everyone kind of idolizes and wants to be, mixed with the consequences. Like there's that line in the first verse where it's like he had friends, a Benz with rims by Gotti, so he's flashy, you know. Guys wanted to beat him, girls wanted to greet him. Kids wanted to be him when they saw him in the Coliseum. So it's like all of a sudden right there, dudes is jealous of you trying to take you out, but at the same time, women is all over you. And I guess it kind of just paints this reality. And then, you know, later on in the track, it's like, yo, your man wants to get rid of you because now you're the #1 neighborhood pharmaceutical distributor. How could you ever expect this from your man that he would plant product inside of your Lexus? So it's like at this height of power, once you've gotten everything, you have that like Machiavellian reality where the person who's your homie, your #2, is gunning for your spot, sets you up and takes you out. Today you're having lunch with a cutie. You got a hunch. You're the type of brother that's moody. So instead you give a sterling lime green to match the colors inside your 8-ball shearling. So today he escapes fate to live another day to pick up scale weights inside of a ghetto. So it's like here, basically you are able to, you know, jump in a different car. So instead of popping in the one, I mean, Sterling and Lexus, different cars. So as your Lexus got set up, you happen to pick a different car, and just by sheer lucky, you escaped to continue on to your life, but not even realizing, I guess, that you were being set up in the other one. Or inside the ghetto cars gather together. And I like how we move just from that, like, kind of his side of cars and maybe the flashier end to Prince Poetry bringing in the other side. So I feel like throughout this whole track, Pharoah Monch is setting up more of like the crime side, and then Prince Poetry is almost like responding to it a little bit.
Okay.
So getting ready to hop under the summer weather, armor all glistening in the suns as 4 cars to reach too deep, but you still find it necessary to carry a gun. So it's like now even on the lower end where all the cars come together, everything seems cool. Maybe it's a nice day, but it's still dangerous, you know? I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, it's just a really great song, and I really think it's cool how it does have that kind of upbeat, vibey melody, but approaches the subject matter the way that it does. I liked it. I give it a 4.5 on 5.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think I said my grade. I gave it a 4.4, so pretty much the same thing.
Next up, though, we have, well, it's pretty big. It's the Organized Konfusion track on the Organized Konfusion album by the group
Organized Konfusion. Is that not Organized Konfusion or what?
So this track has such another funky beat. I feel like we're back into that more fun, booty shaking kind of dancey rhythm to it.
It doesn't make me want to shake my butt, but it definitely makes me want to dance. Maybe shake like my shoulders or like, I don't know, something, my head. I don't know what. More
all
like a
right.
top level shaking.
That's okay. I've seen your dancing skills, and I understand where
I
you're
can
at
shake
with
the
things.
bottom level as well.
I've
just
seen
so
it.
everyone
I know
knows.
where we're at with it. That's okay. How do you feel about this track?
Yeah, I mean, basically like what you said, we're back having like a super fun time on this track. Not that the last track wasn't fun sounding, it just wasn't necessarily a fun topic, I guess. And like this is, we've got like Prince Poetry basically letting us know that he doesn't fuck around and he's here to show you how great he is, and he's throwing shots and just like having like a good time, and it's super fun. It's like one of those like classic clap along to like while people are like maybe like doing a break dance constantly. Like I don't know how often people are break dancing on the corners of streets, but in my mind it's all the time, or it should be all the time. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I mean I don't really have too much else to say about it. It's just really fun. It has like a super fun hype beat, great rhymes, great flows, everything on here pretty great. So I gave it a 4.5 on 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good song. It seems to fill the role of being one of those braggadocious, we are here, we're the dope, we're coming with the authenticity,
Yep.
and we're tired of sucker MCs stepping to me with
So
garbage.
tired of sucker MCs.
I'm Goldilocks and I'm taxing your porridge. I'm like, that's an interesting line, and I really liked it because
But she never made anybody pay taxes.
No, but in a sense, what did Goldilocks do? She taxed their porridge. She ate all of their porridge, thus it was like a tax to be in the presence of it. Making the line kind of
Yes.
clever. It's what she did. She gave a porridge tax. The tax was the porridge they paid to her belly as she stole from them, kind of like how the government steals people's money through income taxes. Now, maybe that's a
Wow.
convoluted...
I feel like that just like the thoughts were like happening as your mouth was saying them.
It's always like that. We've been doing this for a long time. I'm pretty sure that's why anybody who's watching is because the thoughts formulate and they come out of the mouth onto the microphone podcast line.
Yeah, true.
No, but like, that was a clever line because of that. I thought it was really funny. Ooh, cold but yummy. So I guess it's cold but yummy. The idea of just coming through and, taxing your porridge, taking a shit, being the coolest, But in the same time, that porridge was actually left out for quite some time. And so therefore probably would have been cold. Like she walked in and there's just bowls of porridge just sitting there, right? Mm-hmm. And then she proceeded to eat everybody's porridge. There's no way that was some hot steaming porridge. But she truly
Because all the bears made the porridge, then they went into the forest quickly just to get some like raspberries and stuff to add to their porridge.
Something like that. And then,
That's where they went.
but it was yummy because she proceeded to eat that third bowl all the way up, or whatever the fucking thing is. Anyway, he slept in your bed, continuing on with what Goldilocks actually proceeds to do, making this like a surprisingly clever series of bars.
Turns out it's a fairy tale.
I'm just saying, Prince Po here did a really good job in terms of connecting these bars, is what I'm saying. This is
I mean, I definitely missed that. So
really clever. I slept in your bed, and your girl sucks funny. And then I'm like, did he just make the weirdest blowjob reference I've ever heard?
Yeah.
Because that is the weirdest blowjob reference.
Not bad, not good, but just funny.
So now with the current YouTube monetization rules, I now have to actually check a box saying I mentioned blowjobs in the video. Like, I'm not even lying. It's some weird times. It's okay. We'll still talk about blowjobs. It's an important topic in life.
Yep.
There's no way we're getting through hip-hop album reviews with never bringing up blowjobs again. It's just impossible.
Again.
If the head right, Biggie here, anyway. Or no, Nelly here, night. Whoops. We are going to do that Nelly album. Guaranteed we're going to talk about blowjobs again. Anyway. Moving along.
Anywho.
I feel like it's just kind of like that. It's clever bars and shit, you know? So right after your girl fails at blowjobbing him, I'm out to bash beats and drop snares, crush tables and smash up chairs. So I feel like I would also be blue-balled and frustrated after failing at receiving fellatio, and I would turn into the Hulk and proceed to create some organized confusion through the music whilst dropping lyrical metaphors. So maybe if your girl sucked properly, we wouldn't actually get this track because he would have busted the nut,
Exactly.
kind of keeping him from having the pent-up rage to go on the rampage, and he spreads out and hits you like a sawed-off 12 gauge. I'm like, that's fair. That's what happens because your girlfriend's fellatio game is off. Respect, Prince Poe. And he kind of goes on through like that. I don't know. I can't say like the rest of it is super cool. That Goldilocks shit, I know it's whatever, but it really stuck out to me the first time I heard it. A lot of the rest of it's fine. I mean, it's just kind of like his concepts flow with the use of a pen, a sheet when brain cells meet. Fair enough. It's a clever way to put it. It also sounds like all the smart, conscious guys say shit like that. So do I think those lyrics are super profound? No. Do I enjoy listening to him spit this over this beat? Fuck yes, I do. But anyway, he goes, brain busting MCs try to get hype, but smell like doo-doo because they can't even wipe butt. And that one was clever to me. And I'm like, I like it. I like it when they do shit like call you poop and you're basically so useless you can't even perform basic hygiene, motherfucker. I'm like, those are clever to me. Stuck up and quite conceited. Your one-hit song all year long at shows. And I guess that's a fair thing, right? Because there's certain artists today who have entirely successful live touring careers on one hit and nostalgia.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, that's an actual thing he's describing. And it's never going to stop, I suppose, because, I mean, I know a lot of people that'll pay a lot of money to go see one song performed by a famous people, but won't pay any money to see a local artist or support their local peeps. Anyway, but that's fair because at the end of the day, everybody knows it. Everybody goes and spits their shit. You're going to repeat it like reruns. Put your iron away. I kind of like that because it's like, you know, getting rid of runs and shits, but also like, you know, put your gun away, your crap away, you know, but also like, you know, put the mic away. Also like, you know, maybe behave differently. Don't be so lame. I kind of enjoy the way that they play with it. It's a very long verse. It really is. And I find it doesn't get weak. It doesn't get boring. I just kind of, you get to the end when he's like, and I drop hip-hop again, too late because I'm gonna explode, and I drop hip-hop again, atomic atom bomb, releasing lyrics that you better not be using, organizing beats that you find confusing. And I thought about the production, and I mean, yeah, I see where the pocket is. Like, you can find the internal kind of like, there's like a tap. Like, I feel like as long as it's within 4/4, which like 98% of the music we've talked about on this channel is in 4/4. I say that because we have reviewed Tool. Everything else we've done is in 4/4. So it's like you have that like just in the back of it. You can find that core cadence and rap over that in every single beat. But if you're not necessarily good with it, it might be a little more challenging because there is a lot of sounds in their beats. There is so much happening that it's a little more difficult to find the pocket. And some of the more stripped down, super like, come on, everybody knows that one. Like, anybody can find that pocket. That's what I'm trying to say. Then Pharoah Monch comes through and he just fucking rips it and does his thing. I enjoy it. Like, I like the kind of singy back and forthness at the beginning of his verse. Ayo, here we go. Ayo, I'm Prince. Yo! Brothers try to swing on me, but I don't think they hit it. Nah, why? These styles, MCs, they just can't get it. The way I articulate my flows. And he just kind of fucks it up there. And all of it is, again, saying we got style, we got flair, and you can't copy us, which is a prevalent theme of that era because I'm assuming that biting is a real thing. Now biting is still a real thing, only you'll make a lot more money if you bite flows than if you try to innovate flows today. It's weird how it works out like that. I can break down a bunch of science that explains it for you, but you guys don't probably care. If you want, let me know and I'll make a video on the subject of repetition and pleasure and enjoyment. There's a reason why I like jazz after reviewing 3 years of jazz music on this channel through hip-hop. I didn't like it at first, was exposed to it a lot. Now I like it. Look at that. That's how taste actually kind of works. That's what acquired tastes are. Anyway, I feel like Pharaoh Monch just again kills it with his funness. You know, better figurative verbs are thick in you, while the poetic, fanatical, rap acrobatical style static never had it. So I'm packing it back. Automatic pistol itchy by the CIA. By the way, my display are rhymes that I will lay down on wax, distributed from a zodiac digitally with a funk appeal from the real to real, but doesn't matter. And it's like, he's just doing that thing he's doing where he flows through and he's dropping a bunch of shit, and he's kind of throwing a couple little politics there, you know. CIA is watching him because he's so fucking skilled with it, is what I took from that. And overall, I don't have a lot more to comment on it, honestly. It just is pretty solid. I'm scanning it now to see if there's like any more lines that really pop out at me, but no. It's mostly the flow and the delivery that I find stellar. There are a lot of great lines, as we've talked about on this review in the first part. This one was more just flossy, just enjoyable. Just throw it on, dance around, and feel like it's dope. At a rhythm level, it's truly divine. I give this a 4.5 on 5. Alright, so I guess we can move on to a song that is blocked in Canada on YouTube for some reason. PS48.
Yep.
I guess this one's a little fitting because after kind of commenting on biters and distinction and originality, they effectively waste a really, really good beat, almost teasing you, giving you something really fun to sample, and then talk and act obnoxious over it like a shitty beat tag so that you can't actually loop it. So at the end, they're like, nah, you can't loop this. And then I thought about, like, what's the fucking point of it? They're like, yeah, who is it a beat on this one? But the whole point was to, look, we can make this dope-ass shit. And I imagine at this time in era of sampling, that would happen. You would make these great beats and shit. I'm imagining because I was like 3. You would make all these dope beats and shit, and then you would have these empty parts, and then another motherfucker with a sample machine would jack your beat and just kind of make their own shit with it or use it in their own way. So in this sense, by effectively like making a point like, yo, we're so good at this, we can just make a beat and fucking ruin it and then almost laugh at you with it. I, for the life of me, don't know why the rest of this album is available in Canada on YouTube, but I literally had to go to fucking DatPiff. I don't use DatPiff. Like, I mean, it's possibly happened, but we don't do a lot of mixtapes here. I think the Public Enemy mixtape in 2017 is the last time I opened. Yeah, it was the last time I opened DatPiff. And the reason I think it's on DatPiff, as I touched on the first one, is sampling. Disney owned them. And when it came down to streaming and distribution, there's no fucking way anyone was paying to clear these samples for contract 2, because they would have had to go renegotiate with every single sample holder to renegotiate clearance to get digital streaming, because the original, whatever it got put through, was physical and whatever. It doesn't cover Spotify's. Okay. So the DatPiff mixtape loophole exists, so you can find the project on DatPiff. Fair enough. Basically, yeah. I don't know. There's nothing else I can say about it. It's just this little skit that's blocked in Canada, and it's fine. 4.25 on 5. The beat's great, but I kind of feel like it was a petulant move, and they effectively proved their point, and I get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just them making noise and a beat. I don't know. But, I mean, it wasn't that great for me. I don't know. Maybe like that's just what it was. Like it was like the kind of like nah, like kind of like behavior. But I was just like, like for me, it would be fine. Like if this wasn't even there. Not that like it gets like a bad grade because it's, you know, the beat is fine, like you said. But it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's not for me. So I gave it a 3.8 on 5.
All right. Next up is Story Time with Roosevelt Franklin.
All right. I don't have like, I'm not super.
So, as we were taking a little listen to Roosevelt Franklin between the part where it clips, DJ Black Hurricane, the fine fellow who requested this review, posted a comment and kind of said, y'all fucked up, as in me. And I mixed up Pharaoh Monch and Prince Poe on the cover, and I got them backwards.
Yeah, I meant to tell you that actually.
And the reason that Pharaoh Monch was maybe so large at this time,
it was not that large,
is because he was drinking 40 ounces mixed with Kool-Aid. which is
Delicious.
a lot of stuff. Anyway, it makes sense. I don't drink a lot. It's been easy to lose weight with no alcohol.
I never drank 40s of beer, but I drank
Mixed
40s
with-
of like,
Which the Kool-Aid.
yeah.
Also, he wanted to say that Bonnie commenting on Prince Po's crazy placement of enunciation is a good observation. So good job, your lady friend Bonnie.
Ugh, I know.
Why don't you tell us what you feel about this track?
So this one is more jazzy, and they're basically talking about. I know you're gonna go into like all of the details, so I'll let you do that. But so yeah, they're just kind of talking about their friend named Roosevelt, who was always getting them in trouble, and yeah, that's all I'll say about that. The beat is nice. It's all right. I like the grocery list that he gives at the end of like things that his mom had asked him to pick up. So I thought that was kind of cute. I gave it a 4.2 on 5.
I thought this was a dope story track. They do this perspective thing. So, like, Prince Poetry is doing the role of, like, commenting on this guy, Roosevelt Franklin. And, I mean, you can see how I made that mistake. And then Pharoah Monch takes on the role of being that guy, giving the other side of it. So it's almost like saying, you know, the two sides of a coin, or the grass isn't actually always greener type of thing. So, you know, Prince Po as running upon the jagged edge. And I love that book through the rough life. I don't know. There's just something about a book. I don't know. Like, from that era, it just sounds nice. Like, I'll accept a modern do. That's all right, too, for me. No, I don't like that one. That one just sounds like...
Annoying.
To me, it just makes me think of white kids going around me all the time. And it's really the worst.
My first roommate did that all the time for years that I lived with him, and that was the last time I lived with a straight guy.
I did work with a Jamaican guy who would walk around a factory going and do like this whole thing where his hand would go up like all the time.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was okay. But like, I don't know. I just feel like maybe because at work people know I'm a rapper and maybe they just are who they are, but I get a lot of weird gangsterisms done by middle-class white people in my general direction.
Right.
So I'm a big fan of the buck because I don't think we picked that one up. I never heard us dropping that shit, as in middle-class office-working white folk that I'm surrounded by.
All right.
So it kind of has this harshness to it. Anyway. The rough life, when you have to gain much respect as an individual, keeping negativity minimum requires having courage, respect him his intellect, you know. And so it's like, you know, painting out like it's a hard world, you gotta be all focused and on point and real smart. I think that's a cool thing about this track is the intelligence of the perpetrator in question, you know. So he kind of goes, you gotta be on a specific type of set like Roosevelt, especially when your cards are dealt. You see, me frankly, I don't give a hoot about the blanks you shoot or the mental blank see. I like Roosevelt because he ain't booty. So Roosevelt is effectively this guy. He's setting us up to like look at. He's the real deal. All y'all's kind of fake. All y'all's kind of whatever. I do love the flows. I love the way they rap. I just think it's just really good. Again, like, I know I get that whole little whatever about how amazing this is to 91, but it's like the more I look into the history of this shit, it's not that the stuff I grew up on in the early 2000s is less impressive, but it's less seminal sounding to me. Seminal being that, like, culturally, historically innovative moment of change. It's more like a couple floors up on a foundation that was built at that point. So, of course, it sounds dope, but it makes me respect this shit so much more. Anyway, so he's looking at Roosevelt, who keeps it real, and then he flows through and says how he's like never taking a loss to wherever. He's also going to get your girl. He's got some college educated individual, and I like the fact that he's kind of playing down his intelligence by saying with the educated. So also it just makes the rhythm more fun, but
Yep.
It also shows he's just this dumb little hood dude who's just idolizing his hero, the college going, slanging, girl getting, you know, Roosevelt, which is pretty interesting. You never even contemplated if I pulled an automatic millimeter artillery out of your fight. Checking the night, you're out to snipe my man. You can't stand upon sight of him. Out to fatally ignite him. Roosevelt felt staticky. He knew things were shady. Grady had Bradley's Uzi, and he always packed a clip or two. So, you're getting the sense that he's there. He feels almost like protected around Roosevelt because he knows what's up. He's always ready to go. The squad's involved. And then a bad shit went down. Somebody died or whatever. But because he was a clever nerd, nobody kind of suspected him, which is an interesting point, how maybe the guys who go to college and shit kind of get away with stuff a little bit more. And sometimes they might even be these hard motherfuckers. But because of the way it looks, he kind of gets away with it. Highly acceptable rebel from the ghetto on a level of an intelligent rapper. Create him just like Geppetto. So just like that point, he's basically this conscious, blah, blah, blah kind of individual going in and doing on paper all of the right things. But I feel like it's almost the perception he's giving out, the aggressive type, and he's not your puppet. So at the other hand of it, he's also got this side to his personality. Sticking quick enough to pull a skeezer with repetition after taking aim and bucking and blow the smoke away and tucking him and jetting home, hoping that no stunts are stuck in him. He needs sleep for 8 o'clock class. So as fast as he crashed, he might last for 6 hours of bed passed. And you're like, wait a second. Dude just did the gunfights and the shot peoples and all of that shit. And then his main concern is, but I gotta go home and get some sleep because I got class in the morning. When was the last time you heard that in a rap song? Nah, I just haven't heard that in a rap song before.
Okay.
But it's a fascinating point. Whoa, the gangster student.
Yep.
And I mean, there's probably a lot of people who have a reality kind of like that.
Yeah.
And it's also showcasing look how smart you have to be successful at this. That it's like you almost have to be a student to pull it off. Anyway, and basically it kind of ends where he's like, I don't give two drip drops about those that have felt, and if I die, and if you die, and if I die, and if I die, it's because of my man Roosevelt. So in a sense, it's almost like by being around Roosevelt in his harsh life, it's going to be the cause of his death, but at the same time, he's enamored with him and just wants to be there and be sucked into his universe because it's almost like he's the way out. But then I love how Pharoah Monch flips it, like, oh, I'm so confused. Damn, it hurts. People persist to treat me like dirt. I don't sleep at night time because dimes I don't drop. I sling and clockers seize commanders in chief when I pop rocks. So instead of sleeping, instead of getting his rest, he's out at the night running the streets doing his thing. But simultaneously you can recognize him with the bloodshot eyes. I kind of took that like he's high from but also sleep deprived. I wasn't thinking like crack. I just pictured him smoking some reefers and stressed and fucking out of his mind, just never sleeping, just fucking gone. Then he's got the sun beating down on him, and he's just like, why the hell my mother named me Roosevelt Franklin? That's a funny line. That's just like
True.
Being stuck with this shitty name on top of everything
People
else.
with shitty names must be like, why? Why did you do this?
He's like, I don't know why she gave me this shit name, so I strive to gain. Only the Lord knows my eyes have seen the pain, tears coming down my cheeks like rain. I was abused, they stripped the mind for amusement. Now I walk the path to organized confusion. I get it. So I feel like he's kind of almost like showing like just how hard it is to be on that side of the fence. So on the one hand, while so many people glorify maybe a certain lifestyle, the other hand of it is he's going, look how fucking hard and tired it is, because my man Scott turns illusion to reality, bringing up these little basic shits you need, like a loaf of bread, a stick of butter, somebody's mother last dead in the gutter. So the reality is like you got to get these things, but that's my mother asking for it, but simultaneously, look, someone's mother's dead over there. I don't know. And then it kind of just flows out, and he's just got to keep going. He's getting high with hallucinogenics, doing what he can to cope, but effectively he's burning the candle on both ends, and he's fucked up, and he's just kind of lost. Damn, I almost forgot, I have to break out. Like, he has to escape. But, he's so caught up in the trap, it's almost like he can't see the end goal anymore. I thought this song was really, really interesting. Sounds amazing. It's just got such a good feel to it. I mean, I give it a 5 on 5. It made me think, it made me feel, it had excellent rhyming. And again, the problem is the more of these albums I listen to, it's gonna get harder, I guess, for a lot of these new albums to be interesting to me. Not because...
Well, I mean, I think there's always going to be something that can be made interesting, but...
No, but not to say that there aren't going to be, interesting stuff. But I suppose what I'm trying to convey is the standard to get into the interesting level gets higher. I mean, you're going to hear some flashy shit, and then you're like, yeah, but they did it already in 91. And then, so it's
True.
like either you pay homage in some way or you reinvent it and twist it in some way. But that means if you're coming through, like, and you're trying to be all the best, but what you're doing sounds like people from 30 years ago, and you're trying to make it sound like you invented it, that to me is starting to get harder and harder to digest. Whereas you take something like a Griselda Records, which is like, yeah, we're the new Wu-Tang, and then are just doing it. I'm like, and to the point where like Raekwon fucks with them and shit, like that to me is completely fair. Like it's so
Cool, yeah.
clear where their influences come from. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're just killing it in what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, true ingenuity is so rare that at the very least, pay respect to where you got the art from, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's cool. I think this whole experience has been great. But the next song really, the title at least, tapped right into my heart. Who Stole the Last Piece of My Chicken remix.
Wasn't me.
I used to work with a guy named Michael.
Cool.
And when my lunch was, one day I was late for lunch, or the lunch program, and there was chicken. These beautiful pieces of chicken breast. It's not the same. I mean, I feel like this feels like more fried, homey chicken, but still, it's chicken, okay? And I put it in the fridge. I went to go eat it, and there he was eating my chicken. And he stole my last piece of chicken.
Wow.
And then he died. Like right after. And that was like the last thing I said to him was giving him shit for eating my last piece of chicken.
I mean, I don't mean to be laughing that your like coworker died and stuff, but that's what you get. No.
That's kind of what happened. Stole my last piece of chicken.
And then he died.
Like, I mean, they were unrelated. He may have experimented with certain substances that led to an over
That's a little
situation. Unrelated to anything to do with the chicken. But the timing worked out. That story I said is still valid. How do you feel about this song?
I don't know. It's funny. It's cute. I like how Pharoah Monch just kind of starts it off. Watch the rhyme flip to the rhyme that's sultry just because I wrote a dope rhyme about poultry. I mean, yeah, that's what it is.
And keep in mind, this is the remix, and it's different than the original. So he already had written a rhyme about poultry at this
so
point.
this is the second one. It's just kind of basically talking about how, you know, like their past, like in their past life, not in their past life, but like in their youth, I guess. Chicken was always a staple, like in like their upbringing and stuff like that. It was always around. It's just another random topic, but it's fun and it's rhymed and it's, you know, probably, you know, like legit, you know, because chicken's delicious. It just feels genuine. The beat is nothing like crazy special, but it's like a fun, standard kind of like a hip hoppy kind of a song. So I don't know. I liked it. It was fine. I gave it a 4.25 on 5.
I think it's back in the day when life was simple, reminiscing type tune. I mean, it's kind of substantial in the sense that it made me think about chicken, which
True.
was a positive. I mean, the chorus, the chicken, chicken is something else. It's not like it's just bizarre, but in a good way. In a way where when I think about homemade chicken, my mom used to put cornflakes on it, and I don't care what anyone says.
I feel like that's like it makes me always think of Roseanne.
But when you throw cornflakes on chicken, it just absorbs all the shit and makes this delicious flavored cornflake shit.
Like
and
crispy, right?
It's just real
I don't
good.
think I've ever actually had it.
It's not like anything like insane. It's ghetto ass shit, but it's super delicious to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds delicious.
It is delicious. But anyway, I bring access to the past and 70s. You know, he's thinking back to his youth. Kiss my ass if you don't want to remember these. Fuck you. We're thinking about his old chicken, whether you like it or not. Days of the chicken wing, leg, and gizzard. Mother was a recipe genius on wizard. Cooking chickadee chicken. Slicking greasy mate. Look, this isn't meant to be, I think, the most lyrical miracle song.
No.
I think it's meant to be, let's think back to when
Reminiscing.
it's come on, and then just having fun. Like, come on, Prince Poe, I'll flow. Come on, Prince. You know, it's just fun. And then Prince Poetry kind of thinks back, like Kelly had a new box, sporting new jocks with white tube socks. Run 'em over the rooftops, cops buckshot and scare us off. And I'm like, okay. It seems like it gets hard a lot. But just that, like, still the imagery of just kind of coasting around the neighborhood, running away, having some shenanigans, you know, cops be like, don't go there. Apparently they fucking threw, they shot at them, but okay. But they scared us off at bus stops because we threw rocks. Oh, because they threw rocks first. So I guess that's what's... Anyway, so it's just kind of like you just picture them as kids running around, getting up to some shit. And then I love it when chicken got what shoes got. So that's a great fucking line.
Of course.
Because I also like that. I wish in Montreal I had some good authentic southern chicken. I'm certain we have some stuff that's whatever. But one of my dreams is to do a tour of all of you guys in the South that are watching us is chicken.
I mean,
I just
want to
tour all of
places
your...
everywhere that's
no,
great. But
I want people in our
South.
audience who happen to like us who might
Like,
want to
I just want to be in the
homemade-
back seat of like Guy Fieri's diner, drive-in, and
You want that?
Dungeons or
I
whatever
want to go to your barbecue and eat your nice home cooked chicken that does not.
But like
exist
that's what
up
he
here.
does. He goes to like all these like tiny little rinky-dink places,
I don't want to
and
go
they're
to
great.
rinky-dink. I want to go to their
Like this like
barbecues.
little shack on the side of the
I wanna go
road.
to-
That's
I'm saying
you know-
home, not resto.
Yeah, but it's like homemade.
But I want the home version.
Okay, we're coming over, guys.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, my mother and your mother was hanging out the clothes. My mother, Jap mother, on the grill. What color came out? Red, but it's not a red alert. It's because you're cooking meat and blood came out. Anyway, if I was a kid again, I'll push you in the dirt. Anyway, this is fine. It's just a decent song. It's all right. It's okay. I gave it a 4.25 or 4.35. I think it's a fun song. I can't say I'd really go out of my way to listen to this.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I can say that it does have a nice nostalgic feel, and if you can connect with the core message of these memories, I imagine that it would be something a lot more meaningful to you. Or if you grew up with this, if you were a kid and you were eating chicken, and you know, like I can just see it. Like for me, I just heard this for the first time, like, you know, last week. So anyway, that's all I gotta say about that one.
Okay.
The next track is called Open Your Eyes. All right, Bonnie, tell us about Open Your Eyes.
The beginning is awesome. I really like that. So we have Pheromont, and basically he's kind of saying that he isn't going to fall for the devil's temptation again. And he's just saying, you know, like, better yourself and, you know, learn and read your religious book. It seems like, you know, he's kind of saying, like, whatever it is, knowledge is power, and, like, you know, so is faith, and just kind of to, like, know all of that. And that's kind of what they're saying that they're working on. And I don't know, I think that's what Prince Poetry says. And like the song seems to just be about being thankful that you have faith and that you have knowledge, and you know, you keep learning both, like I said, and just kind of like clear your eyes from like all of like the nonsense and like the distractions in the world, and pay attention what is going to make you a better person and, you know, a complete feeling person. Focus on yourself, and, you know, and gain all of like the experience and knowledge that you can, and, you know, be the best you can be. So it's cool. It's a, you know, a good message. It's not one that we've heard before, or I mean, it's one that we've heard before, but it's one that I don't really get tired of hearing because it's a good message. So I get this one a 4.2 on 5.
I took this like, life is hard, praise God. That is
Okay.
totally where this song's going, in my opinion. Like, there's just too many rages, too many infinite screams at night. We're living in concrete cages. This is Pheromont starting us off. The beat's nice. It's airy. It's kind of upbeat. It kind of got that groove going on. It doesn't have the shake your booty groove. It's got that other groove. I feel like there's like two main grooves to this album. I do want to say, though, that as far as versatility goes, all of the songs do manage to come off fresh and unique. So while there are main grooves that they tap into, it doesn't create a soundscape of similarity. It's not like, as an example, I just did the new Burns project. It's a great project if you're really into that one sound Burns tapped into for 4 songs, whereas this is really like kind of varied and giving you a lot to pick between, which is a good thing. But yeah, so you're looking at how it starts off. Another child is doomed to be in his mother's wombs. It's kind of like, look, we're in this awful environment. It's basically hell. It's pretty bad. There's guns going off. And sometimes it feels like I can't go on. And then you're singing a little bit there. And what I like about it is that there's no auto-tune or anything. So it sounds human.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of like it when people kind of suck at singing and then unapologetically sing. Right? Like, there's a courage and a boldness to that people maybe should tap into more. Maybe he isn't the best singer, but at the same time, I feel like just hearing his energy there is really cool. But when I envision a black man with thorns in his hand on a crucifix, I get strong. Never will I ever let a devil ever deceive me again, mislead me. So I'm going to assume this is looking at the idea of devil from the Nation of Islam perspective of white men persecuting the black community. Fair enough. That shit's kind of prevalent. I'll give it to him. Because when I'm going to hit you with, it's going to hurt because the flesh is meaningless. It remains amongst the dirt, but the soul is uplifted. 10:31:67. I'm God gifted. I don't know what the fuck those measurements are, but fair enough. He's blessed by God. MCs are changing it. Grows like a fungus. Beware the evil that walk among us. Behold, a fallen angel, hark the rebel. The mark of the 666, the devil. First of all, 666 is the mark of fucking man. Everybody misquotes that shit because nobody fucking reads Revelations, but it flat out says the mark or a man's number, and that is 666. It is not the devil's number. It is man's number. Moving on. Guys, just anyway, I'm certain somebody's gonna be like, no, you're fucking no, but like I'm saying, it doesn't say the devil's number. It says man's number is 666. I looked that shit up because I wrote it as a lyric and I double and triple checked it, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't mistakenly quoting the devil's number like 98% of pop culture media. Anyway, you better beware because he's coming behind you. No, it doesn't take long for him to find you. So it's very like religiously driven.
Yeah.
And then if you go down to the end, it's like, you know, open your book, look to the horizon, start scoping, open your eyes, and try to study the Holy Quran or read the Holy Bible. I'm making a getaway plan. Is going to be a better way. There's got to be a better day. So it's like open up the spiritual books, gain the wisdom, grow, and be strong. So it is a lot of what you're saying, but I feel like the big caveat is God will get you there. And then Prince Poe even follows through.
Yeah.
And now I ask, Lord, have mercy upon me and grant me sight for what I can't see. It's very Christian. Pray to God to open up your eyes to see the truth, to escape the bad. To affront, yes, to be blunt, I won't flunk. For you are the shepherd and I shall not want. To front, yes, to be blunt, I won't flunk. For I am blessed with the gift of knowledge without college. And I like that too. He's deaf with true knowledge, like God has opened his eyes. He's able to see what's going on. And this is in spite of education. He still has knowledge. But now let's shift into the specific dimension that we call earth, where God gave us the gift of birth. But last but not least, Ephesians 6 tells you to teach the child. Revelation tells about two-day swarms, the guns and disease, homicides over epidemics, and crack vials. Like guns going buck, 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 and you look up and you see a kid got stuck. So effectively, I think what he's trying to do is paint the prophetic nature of chaos and destruction in Revelations as taking place the end of days. My dad grew up telling me all about this shit. He's convinced we've been in the end of days where all the bad shit preached in Revelation is going on for a minute. So it's fascinating to see that point of view projected through lyrics. But my dad is on team the church will go through the tribulation, because there's also a team the church will not go through the tribulation. The tribulation being an awful time on earth where people suffer before Jesus comes back. I'm like, fuck out of here with this shit. Honestly, I think it's the stupidest argument ever. Who the fuck cares? If you're down with Jesus and you suffer, it shouldn't matter. Or if you're down with Jesus and you don't suffer. Either way, you're supposed to be down with Jesus, not worrying about if you suffer. Anyway.
Okay.
Brothers sharing cells and sharing beds. They can't seek a jog with the hair that's dread. Sit back and face reality with these lyrics. I hope they can uplift your spirits. So I feel like, again, it's like turn to God because systemic racism's bullshit. Fair enough. I like the song. I gave it a 4.5, and it's also got an organ built into the beats, and I thought that was fascinating too, because you don't often hear organs used like that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not a common hip-hop beat instrument.
Well, I suppose it's used in a church.
In the way
so
that
maybe
it's
that's
used
why
here. So organs used in trap music where they take like 3 notes on an organ sound, loop it, or whatever. But this sounded more like church organ
Right.
being sampled rather than organ instrument being trapified. Anyway, moving on.
Well, now that we're on the second to last song, let's listen to the intro.
How do you feel about this track?
The beat is okay on this one, but I have heard some better ones on this album. I'll just say that. I like some of the lines. I think I wrote some of them. Yeah. So I wrote down some of Pharoah Monch's lines from, I guess, like the very beginning. Lime to a lemon to a lime. I flowed too many rhythms. Too many rhythms. I rhyme off of the tempo. Simplistic, but consequently distorts the instrumentality. Cause an illusion. Organized, but at the same time confusing. So I like that, and he's kind of saying like this is what organized confusion is. It's organized and yet it's confusing the way that he raps or the way that they rap, and like just that they don't really follow any rules and they kind of do their own thing. They make their own kind of music. They do whatever suits them, and that's kind of what it is. It's a shorter song, and it's it's okay. It's nothing wild, but it's not bad. It's just basically them being talented and making music simply and with skill, and like I said, how they don't really play by anyone's rules and they rap however the hell that they want to. So it's good. It's not necessarily one that I would go back to. It's nothing like special. It stands out on this album for me, but it's fine. I give it a 3.9 on 5.
Basically, I see a note on Genius saying that this is the introduction to Stress the Extinction Agenda, the second album, and that this is the intro to that. To which I'm not 1,000% sure if that's true or not, because I did zero research, in which case we'll find out.
There's that.
Because DJ Black Hurricane has requested this Stress the Extinction Agenda as his next review, so we will be doing that. In which case I said, I'll Google then. But I saw the notes, I pulled up the lyrics, and I just didn't check any of the tracks or anything, so I don't really know what version is real. But it would be, in a sense of Organized Konfusion regardless, to throw a track called Intro to the end of the album.
Okay.
Like, even in and of itself, that is a move of Organized, because you chose to do it, so it's organized, but it's confusing, so it's confusion. Either way, it just feels kind of airy and light, and them just kind of rapping, like, the lemon to a lime to a lemon, confusing the metabolism, which is like your mental metabolism, in men and women with lyrical recitals that I'm just like, okay, this is fine. That I'm giving. Some consider me an intellectual hip-hop transmitter. I'm like, I feel like after everything I've heard, this is a little underwhelming at this point. But it's okay. It's fun. It's airy. Pharoah Monch doesn't actually bring anything more to it, in my opinion. Like, had this been the intro to the project and we had just been starting, I do feel like maybe I would have liked it more. But I feel like having gotten the whole album and getting here, it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Many moons ago, when I reminisce, I used to flow to slow beats, keeping it straight, capital M, O, capital N. I'm like, oh, you know what? It's fine. It's all right. There's not a lot here for me that I'm getting into. But it does sound good. It's easy to listen to. It's just not that dope to me. So I give it a 4.25 because it's extremely well made. And the production is stellar. It's just the rhyming is kind of, like, the rhyming sounds good until I think about it. And that's where it starts to hit it.
Okay.
Anyway, that's fine. If it's meant to be the intro of the next project and they're trolling and fucking. Plus, I don't even know if this is the original version that came out, because the last track has Who Stole My Last Piece of Chicken on it again, and the remix was before it. I don't know. But yeah, Who Stole My Last Piece of Chicken?
Not me. I already said that.
This track has a music video. And if I were to imagine anything about gatherings and chicken, it would be this music video. I like how they got buckets that look like the Colonel's buckets. And all I can say is I want a fried chicken when this is done. And I'm sad that there are limited fried chicken delivery options in COVID times worth getting, and everything's bullshit in terms of the shitty pizza places around here with their fucking crap-ass fucking fried chicken. I want some good shit. And the place that gave the good shit's no longer delivering because of the situation. And it's
Sad.
It's almost like the virus stole my pieces of chicken.
Ooh.
And I'm not happy about that. What do you think of this track?
I mean, I agree. I mean, I thought it was like kind of like a funny music video. It's like, you know, simple and cheap and everything, but it works. And like, you know, they're kind
It's
of
memorable though.
yeah, like they're just like hanging out, having a good time. There's chickens, but like rubber chickens and stuff like that. And like they're walking around like the New York streets because I think they're from Queens, they said, right? So yeah, so they're just kind of like, you know, having a day. I like this one, and basically, again, just describing eating chicken, and you know, especially their mother's chicken. Again, like kind of going back to like simpler times, and you know, just enjoying their mom's chicken. I like some of Prince's poetry's lines. I got them in the Prince skirts, yo. You was fiending for a chicken fix. Ran in the kitchen and put my finger in the cornbread mix. Please send me cornbread mix, please. Mom yells, dinner's ready, because she's the boss. All I need was my ketchup and my hot sauce and my cornbread, please. And now I'm ready to dig in, pick the meat off the bone, and then I ate the skin. So it's literally just describing eating chicken, and like kind of what they're up to. And you know, as his mom's making like the batter for like the cornbread mix, he like scoops them up, you know, like a cake mix or whatever. It's the same sort of thing. Like it's just cute. It's just innocent and joyful, and it's fun. And then like Pharaoh Munch at the end gets in trouble for trying to eat, you know, chicken before they were finished saying grace. And, you know, like, I feel like you would always kind of, like, try to do that. And, you know, if, you know, or I didn't grow up in a house that said grace, but, like, I've seen it on TV, so I'm guessing that that's what it would be. Yeah, and then there's no chicken left when he goes to, I guess, to have some. I can't remember exactly what happened to the chicken. I think they just all ate it. And, I mean, it's a simple enough story, and kind of topic again. But it's, I mean, it's true, and it's something that, you know, you have to do something like this every day. You got to eat, right? So why not make a song about it? So I give it another 4.2 on 5.
I like this one. Like, lyrically, there's a lot more happening in the last one. The last one just
Yeah.
kind of felt like airy and fun. But I felt like it was more fun to listen to. Like, it just had a better vibe to it. This one comes through, like, you know, with the little Richard Pryor sample. You know that chicken I put in the refrigerator last night? Well, I expect to find it when I get home this evening.
Wah, wah.
And I imagine that when you try to leave leftover chicken around, there's a good chance somebody's going to eat it. I know I'm going to eat it if it's there and it's Bonnie's. That's okay. But yeah, so Pharaoh Monch is remembering, damn, it really hurts my heart to remember these days way back in the 70s. The only AIDS used to know was Kool-Aids, cornbread, cornrows, and corn braids. And I guess it's a fair point, you know, thinking back before, like, the AIDS epidemic and a lot of the bad shit, to a simpler time when it was just Kool-Aid before you'd mix that with 40s. Pull up a chair, read some Dr. Seuss, peel off the skin, eat all the meat, nibble to the bone, and suck the goo. I do all these things, man. You ever crack the bone and suck the marrow? Abso-fucking-lutely.
I've never done that. I
Yeah,
don't think I've ever done
I
that.
have done that. Man, if my mother was the colonel, a chicken would have sold. It even tastes better the next day cold. Of course it does. Great fried chicken tastes great the next day cold. Anyway, so it's pretty fun. It's just like his mom made chicken. You better clean up your room before you go outside and play. Thinking back on better times. And I love the idea of using, like, who stole my last piece of chicken to, like, kind of be this idea of childhood. Like, it's a really good nostalgia tune for that regard. You know, then Prince Poetry's verse, I believe, is actually the same, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, it's fine. Then Pharaoh Monch comes through, round up, round 1, 2, 3. I'm fresh out the batch and you can't catch me. Miss Mary Matt, I'm like, it's fine. She's rather fat. She carries a bat. She's the noisiest lady on the block when it's hot. And it's like, okay, it's just some shit going up. And then he's just kind of like, you know, no one died. The SWATs may have come through, but it's okay. And then when we all cried, when the scary things happened, and then my mom made chicken and it's all okay again. And then the barbecue's in the summer. Principal keeps us going, just kind of pinching this picture of him and his friends getting some shit, but there's no money. But, oh well, can't get anything here, so they go to Troy's house and get some loose, you know. But then it's just like the idea of being kids and wanting all the fun stuff, and just kind of you can feel like you're coasting through their neighborhood. Is they're just like, how are we gonna get the Kool-Aid? Troy's mom has Kool-Aid, you know, like that kind of shit. So it has that feel to it. And then, you know, Pharoah Monch's best friend was a G.I. Joe, although he had bald spots in his afro. I'm like, fair enough.
You didn't have any friends.
Play with the kids your own age. That's what they used to tell us. I got jealous when we couldn't run with the big fellas. You know, just, again, similar stuff.
Yep.
Looking back, being simple, and to the point where Prince Bo just drops this whole verse, you know, picturing all the food he's going to eat. He's just desiring it until he gets there and there's no chicken left. And then they kind of question where the chicken goes. And then, yeah. It's kind of what it is. I give it a 4.25. I mean, as much as I appreciate what the song is, I don't know if I'd really go out of my way to listen to it again, but I like the idea of it. I like what it represents. And I guess that's it. That would be the end of this album.
Yep.
For me, at least, I give the project a 4.533. I would say it's definitely a classic based on my math grades. I think it is versatile. It has a lyrical sense of flow that's just ridiculous. Like the way they rap is good. In fact, most of the points that got taken off were actually like the skit end of stuff more than like the song end of stuff. But I think it's just brilliant. I think their level of production is extremely stellar. I think the way they ride these beats is stellar. I think like it is really well made. This is a well-rounded album where, again, when you think of something like an Eminem or all of the dudes who may have polished up what was being done here in 91, it's still like you don't have an Eminem without an Organized Konfusion. Like there is a clear path from how one built upon the things to get to an Eminem. And I'll give Eminem his credit. Dude just shouts out everybody, down to Pharoah Monch. Like, literally in Rap God, is like, I got my Pharoah Monch flow. Like I said, I'm gonna crunch rhymes and a punch lines. And he literally gives him credit in Rap God. So, fair enough. Eminem does do his due diligence, which is a respect point in his favor. But it is important to, like, now that lyric makes sense to me, right? Because when I first heard it, I'm like, I guess Pharoah Monch is a good rapper. Like, it didn't make sense to me. Until you're listening to Rap God and realizing the entire song is effectively what these two dudes did in 91, but like a little tighter and different, you know, with the some of the madubulubas and all that.
Not quite the same, but yeah.
I think it has messages. I think it's got some creative ways of showcasing.
And it's fun. Like, they're just having like a good time.
Well,
like, I like
I don't know if fun is fully the word. I think it's intense.
It's enjoyable. I don't think it's intense. You want to clap along and do
there's
like
a lot of songs
breakdancing half the time.
But then there's a lot of songs where I feel like they're on the verge of war and shit's getting real. So I feel like it captures both of these emotions. It kind of gives you a landscape of their reality. There's days where it's fun times, but they also are tough. They also come from a harsh environment, and they want you to know what's going on in the world. And they use their platform, and I really respect it.
Yeah, that's true. I like this. I gave it a 4.3 on 5, so an 86%. I mean, I love Pharoah Monch even more now. So thank you, DJ Black Hurricane. I mean, it's so much fun. I mean, like, I think it was a lot of fun. Yes, there are some songs that are about more serious topics, but I mean, for the most part, it was enjoyable to listen to. It was jazzy. It was, they just tried different sound. I like the water sounds on, like, you know, one of the earlier songs. Like, I just like that they just try and do their own thing, and it's cool. I would say definitely a classic.
Fair enough. So thank y'all for watching this or listening, being here with us. We appreciate you. We hope you're all safe and all that good stuff. Let us know in the comments how you're feeling. If you can get the fried chicken delivery in your hood, I'd be jealous if you could. And if somebody steals your last piece of chicken, I feel you. They're a fucking asshole. But y'all, like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. And special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Dempsey, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams, and Scribble.
That's
Dope.
right.
They support what we do. They help us grow, and that's amazing. They also get to tell us what albums to review. So if you want to see us do a review, you can put it in the comments and join the list of hundreds of other people, or you can cut the line through Patreon. Anyway,
Just saying.
let us know if you want to do that. And I also make music myself. I have a song coming May 13th. You can check the description of this video for that DistroKid link where you can click that button and follow me on the Spotify's and whatnot. That would be super helpful. And you can also check out what I've already released, and that would be real nice. Don't worry, I'll have a video here for y'all on May 13th. Anyway, that's it. Thank y'all for being here. I look forward to seeing your comments. And as always, live long, prosper, and enjoy the chicken.
Bye, guys. Stay well.